Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here. I announced a few episodes back, in case you missed it, that some of the SA Matters show episodes are now on video. The guests on this show often have some amazing video and audio clips to share, and that's just hard to do in an audio format of a podcast. So when I do an interview, the episode is going to be posted on YouTube as a video as well. And if you prefer to listen to the audio episodes on YouTube, the audio podcasts are also going to be posted there. So now you can listen to the audio-only episodes by subscribing to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, or the YouTube channel, whichever you prefer. Okay, before I kick off this episode, I want to take a moment to tell you about the Situational Awareness Matters live virtual training that's now available. If you want to get training for your whole department on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making, this is the most affordable way to do it. I will come to your department live via the internet and train your members. All you need to do is have an internet connection and a way to project it onto a screen. The programs are interactive, and there is a Q&A session at the end of the training. Most sessions last around 2 hours, but that can be customized to fit your needs. If you're interested, visit the samatters.com website and click on the Contact Us tab, and I'll follow up with you to explain how it all works in greater detail. Okay, that's enough of the pre-show stuff. Roll that SA Matters show intro. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Captain Eric Dryman from the Indianapolis Fire Department, and you are listening to the SA Matters radio show with Dr. Rich Gasaway. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want to help us see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello and welcome to episode 203 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence, time-compressed environments with changing conditions. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. I've been sharing the message of situational awareness and high-risk decision-making in live program events for 13 years now, and have trained just over 64,000 students, including first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, aviation workers, oil refinery operators, and more. This message truly is for anyone who works in a high-risk, high-consequence environment that requires critical thinking and resilient problem-solving skills. I'm dedicated to improving your safety and your survival, and I'm here to offer you a message of hope and a message of inspiration to help you accomplish the most important goal of all, and that's to go home to the ones who love you. And speaking of sharing the message, today I'm coming to you from Towson, Maryland, where I'm in town to deliver the opening program for the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute's National Fire Service Staff and Command School. This is my 18th year presenting at MIFRE, and I really appreciate their confidence in my message. If you're not familiar with MIFRE's National Fire Service Staff and Command School, check them out at mifre.org, MFRI, for the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute, MFRI.org. I want to thank Paul Flippin and all the great staff at MIFRE for your hospitality and for the opportunity to share my message with your program attendees. One of the questions I get asked a lot by readers of the blog and listeners and viewers of this show are, when are you coming to my area, or where are you going to be next? Great questions, and I've made it really easy to find out the answer. I've created a link on the homepage of the SA Matters website, and it's a blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Live Training Dates. So just go there and check it out, and you'll see where all the programs are going to be. In today's episode, I want to explore the phenomenon known as the normalization of deviance, or sometimes referred to as the standardization of deviance, and how it can impact situational awareness. We rationalize that because we operate in conditions of stress and consequence with urgency and a feeling of pressure to perform quickly, that we can take shortcuts to our best practices. Some even go as far as to rationalize that we should shortcut our safety best practices when faced with conditions that are urgent. This episode explores how shortcuts, rewarded with successful outcomes, can lead to a normalization of deviance. Okay, let's jump into our feature segment, exploring how the normalization of deviance can impact situational awareness. It's a rather odd term, the normalization of deviance, but the term and the premise behind the term provides a valuable explanation as to how some of the behaviors we observe as individuals and teams while working in high-risk, high-consequence environments seem to be so unusual and maybe even unexplainable. Defining the terms. Normalization, to make normal, to make as an established standard. Deviance, departing from the norm, performing in a non-standardized way. Shortcuts. When we're operating under conditions of stress and consequence, coupled with changing conditions and time compression, we can feel a sense of urgency, and this can lead us to want to take shortcuts from our safety best practices. We rationalize that because we are operating in conditions of stress and consequence with urgency and a feeling of pressure to perform quickly, that we can shortcut our best practices. Some even go as far as to rationalize that we should shortcut our safety best practices when faced with conditions that are urgent. I know that throughout my career, under certain conditions, I have taken shortcuts and rationalized doing so by saying or thinking to myself, well, Rich, there was just no time to waste. If I followed the steps that I was supposed to, the outcome of this incident is going to be much worse. So I took shortcuts, and I rationalized my behavior. Making it worse, I was rewarded for doing so. The reward. Sadly, we take shortcuts and get away with them. We are, in a sense, being rewarded for taking the shortcuts. The brain remembers the path to successful outcomes, and if that path involves shortcuts, the brain may compel us to take those shortcuts again because it is the fastest, and perhaps even thought to be the more efficient way to a successful outcome. Our past successes can set us up for failure. Once we get an ample supply of previous successes under our belts while taking shortcuts, we can let our guard down to our best practices that we now think maybe are even overkill. Every successful outcome from a best practice shortcut sends a false message of how to achieve success. The shortcut. It sends it into long-term memory. But the success wasn't based on best practice. It was based on luck, not skill. Urgency. One of the many factors contributing to shortcuts is feeling that the work must be done urgently. By the very nature of the work performed in high-stress, high-consequence environments, the sense of urgency may be present often, so it can become easy to rationalize when we need to take shortcuts. Normalization. Once we have rationalized our need to take shortcuts often enough, reinforced with positive, successful outcomes, the shortcut becomes the new standard of behavior. It becomes the new normal. Once this happens on a large scale, no one within an organization is able to see the shortcomings in the behavior because it is now the normal. Deviance. It is easy to get drawn into deviance while performing high-risk work. We operate so often under conditions of stress, consequence, time compression, and changing conditions that taking shortcuts to expedite successful outcomes can become unto itself normal. The drift into failure. Over time, deviant behavior can become the norm. Even grossly deviant behavior, the kind of behavior that is outrageously outside the bounds of safety, can become the norm. This drift into failure can be slow, sometimes taking years or even decades for the new standard to become entrenched. On the defense. The organizations that are drifting toward failure often cannot see it. They are deep in their denial that anything is wrong and defiantly defend their methods as best practices. They can even defend their close calls, their near misses, and their casualty events by rationalizing it by saying, the work we do is dangerous. We're in a dangerous profession, and some people are just going to get hurt, and there's nothing we can do about it. I don't deny the danger of high-risk, high-consequence professions, nor do I think we can engineer, equip, or train away all the risks we face on the job. However, there is a difference between assuming risk and creating risk. Those who have normalized deviant behavior have been creating risk for so long that they now feel it is normal. The more success they've had, the more normal it feels. When someone from the outside starts poking their nose into their business of their deviant organization, they can find themselves quickly beat down or shown to the door. I've experienced this firsthand, and it makes me sad because I can see the bad things that they cannot see. To be clear, I don't have any special gifts that allow me to see bad things before they happen. All I have is the wisdom that comes from reviewing hundreds of casualty reports and conducting investigations into what causes workers to get hurt and killed. And from that, patterns emerge. The second thing I have is the ability to come in from the outside and see an organization with a fresh set of eyes. And that sometimes allows you to see things that those who've been so close to the problems for so long can't even see it. Predictable patterns that are often involved in deviant behaviors are easy to spot for someone from the outside. One of the services I offer to organizations is the opportunity to come in and look around and see how they do their work. It's a friendly visit. I'm not an investigator, and I'm not a lawyer. The organization has no compelling mandate to do anything that I recommend. I just observe and offer ideas based on safety best practices. And to be clear, there are many resources that you can go to get these evaluations done. I don't want you to think that I'm just trying to beat my own drum for business. You can turn to a lot of different people that can get this kind of review or an evaluation done for you. The important thing is to realize that deviant behavior, those behaviors that are less than best practice, can slowly drift into your organization. Then before you know it, you have a new best practice, a new standard, a new normal, and it's deviant, and it's waiting to be implicated in your next near miss or your casualty event. I have a favor to ask of you, the listeners and viewers of this show. The primary reason I created this show is to provide a platform for those who have had near miss events. The stories that have been shared with me on these episodes and at my live events have been nothing short of amazing and extremely educational. And I'd like to get more of these lessons shared with the listeners and viewers of this show, but I need your help. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, contact me by visiting the SA Matters website and clicking on the Contact Us tab on the top of the homepage. Think about it for a moment. The lessons learned from your near-miss event could save someone else's life. That's really powerful. If you want to share that gift, contact me. All right, I want to share a piece of feedback that I received from somebody who was read an article that I had posted on LinkedIn. It says, Rich, great article on confabulation posted on LinkedIn. Not only does it apply to the fireground, but to our high-stress managers and supervisors where I work. Made me examine areas that create unnecessary noise and information overload, and my perspective and reaction to when I experience responses from employees that may be confabulation. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often, but I can recall several instances where I've scratched my head and said, that isn't at all the way that it happened, or that isn't at all what I said. Great article. Lance Olson, President of Operations, Emergency Apparatus Maintenance, Incorporated. Thank you, Lance, for that feedback. If you want to send me some feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Just go to the SA Matters website and click on the Contact Us tab. Okay, as I always do, I want to take a moment to thank the companies and organizations and agencies and departments that have hosted recent Situational Awareness Matters tour stops. I do this to show my appreciation to those who put forth the effort to organize, advertise, and fund training on this important topic. Recent tour stops have included Missouri City, Texas, which, by the way, they invited me back to do a follow-up program, so thank you, Missouri City, for that. The International Association of Fire Chiefs Company Officer Leadership Series, which was in Orlando, and that was my 9th program for the IAFC Coles seminar. So thank you for those opportunities to the International Association of Fire Chiefs. The Emergency Services Conference at Pipestem. That was my 11th program for Escape, so thank you for that. That invitation back. The Texas Fire Chiefs Conference, my 2nd time there, in Syncrude, Canada, where I'm doing programs for 600 plus oil refinery operators, and where I am now in Maryland for the MIFRE National Fire Service Staff and Command School. If you're interested in attending one of the upcoming SA Matters tour stops, you can join me on March 14 to 18 at, I actually can't join me, but I will be at Syncrude. Syncrude is an oil refinery in Fort McMurray, Alberta, and I'll be doing that training there for their employees. April 2 and 3, Louisiana Fire Chiefs Conference in Baton Rouge, and that's my 3rd time with the Louisiana Fire Chiefs, so thank you for the invite back. April 9 to 13 in Evansville, Indiana for the Company Officer Development Institute, and that's my 4th time delivering that in Evansville, so thank you, Evansville Fire, for the invite back there. April 17th for the Minnesota Department of Transportation in Camp Ripley, Minnesota. April 25 to 28 at the Fire Department Instructors Conference in Indianapolis, Indiana, my 21st year presenting at FDIC. And April 30th, the Idaho Fire Chiefs Conference in Sun Valley, Idaho. If you want to see all the locations of all the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stops, head over to the SA Matters website and click on that blue box on the right side of the homepage labeled Live Training Dates. Just remember that the schedule is always changing, so check back often. Since I made mention of the Company Officer Development Institute program coming up in Evansville, I'd like to take a moment to share with you what that's all about. Some of you know my second passion after situational awareness is developing leadership skills of supervisors, something I did a terrible job of when I was a boss. I was guilty of promoting supervisors before they were prepared to lead, and that was my fault. And then I got frustrated when they didn't know how to provide good leadership to their team. And again, that was my fault. So I created the Company Officer Development Institute. This program can be customized to run anywhere from 2 to 5 days. And no matter the length, 2 days or 3 or 4 or 5, there is no PowerPoint. Did you hear that? No PowerPoint. Can you imagine a week-long class that doesn't use PowerPoint? Is that even possible? Not only is it possible, but it's a better way to learn the skills essential for good leadership. When adults are engaged in the process of learning and not just being lectured to, learning can be fun. And the important part is that the lessons stick. We share practical, actionable best practices for leadership, problem solving, conflict resolution, teamwork, communications, motivation, accountability, generational leadership, discipline, coaching for performance improvement, and more. So when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of the frustrations that come with dealing with uncommitted or unprofessional or undedicated employees, and it destroying the morale of your organization, and your first line supervisors really don't know what to do about it, and it's sucking the life out of them, contact me for a program that'll teach them a better way of leadership and committed followership. If you're interested in hosting a situational awareness program, I got some kind of good news and bad news. There are already over 80 programs scheduled for 2018. And the good news is that that'll translate into about 15,000 students getting trained. The bad news is I'm running out of dates for 2018, and this can cause some problems in the scheduling, and it's forcing me to push some of those programs into 2019 sooner than expected. So what does this mean for you? It means if you're interested in getting your members trained on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making in 2018 or 2019, now is the time to get it scheduled. The way you get it scheduled is just go to the SA Matters website, click the Contact Us tab. I've got some great staff, and they will make the process easy. The last time I was delivering programs in southwest Minnesota, I stopped by and visited the sponsor of this podcast show, Midwest Fire. Midwest Fire is a fire truck manufacturing company that makes amazing all-poly-bodied fire apparatus, and it's changing the industry. If you haven't checked them out yet, you need to. Go to MidwestFire.com. That's MidwestFire.com. Anyhow, while I was there, I got a chance to sit down and talk to some of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. Here I asked about the various types of apparatus that Midwest Fire builds. Let's listen in. Okay, Dalton, tankers and tanker pumpers. That seems to be the game for Midwest Fire. I see, even as I'm here at the factory, I see a number of tankers and tanker pumpers. But do you build anything else? Are you basically just a two-product company, or do you have other types of trucks that you're building for customers?
We do in fact build a lot of tankers and tanker pumpers. They are our bread and butter. We love building them, and they're a great product for us. But in fact, we do not only build tankers and tanker pumpers. We try and fill the whole department. So if anyone needs to replace their fleet, we can do it. We do a lot of roll pumpers. We're starting to do more and more of those. We don't really trend towards more of the major metropolitan cities with pumpers. We leave that up to the guys that have been doing it for a long time. We take care of our customer base, which are volunteer firefighters, rural firefighters, and we provide them with the rural pumpers. We also do quick attacks. We do a lot of rescue quick attacks, mini pumpers, not necessarily the PTO mini pumpers, but we do portable pumps on these things. So essentially it's a lot of rescue tools. It's on an F550. It's got a rescue-style body, but we call them quick attacks. And then finally, we do brush trucks. And brush trucks we love doing these because these things are one of the coolest trucks and coolest firefighting pieces of equipment on the face of this earth. We've been doing a lot of those. We've started doing brush trucks around 2.5 years ago, and we have been building roughly 10 to 15 a year, and we're increasing that by the day. It's a really cool thing, and you'll be seeing a lot more Midwest Fire brush trucks in the future.
So if somebody wanted to see what these trucks look like, are there pictures on the website or a gallery, or is there someplace they can go to put their eyeballs on what we're talking about here?
Yeah, definitely. We have many areas where you can see the pictures. We have a Twitter account. We do a lot of delivery pictures and just pictures in general on our Facebook. That's a huge place for people to go see us. But the biggest part is our website. We do have a deliveries tab, and you can see all recent deliveries on our website from the day they were delivered all the way back to how many ever years ago.
Yeah, nice. So if you want to learn more about the types of apparatus that Midwest Fire is building, tankers, tanker pumpers, quick attack pumpers, brush trucks, rural apparatus, visit them at MidwestFire.com and see how they can help you. Thank you to Midwest Fire President Sarah Atchison and all your amazing staff for your awesome commitment to improving the safety of first responders. I really appreciate your support of my mission. If you want to become a member of the SA Matters community of learners, here's how you can do that. There are over 50,000 people connected here through our newsletter, our Facebook page, our Twitter feed, LinkedIn, and YouTube, sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to improve skills in critical thinking and resilient problem solving. All right, let's start with the newsletter. First, it's completely free. The newsletter will come to you by email once a month, and it contains featured content from both the SA Matters blog and the SA Matters show. And occasionally I offer special discounts on my books and videos exclusively for the newsletter subscribers. The newsletter is truly the best way for us to stay in touch with each other. There are two ways you can subscribe to the newsletter. The first, and by far the easiest, is on your smartphone. All you have to do is text SA Matters to 22828. That's the letter S and the letter A and the word matters all together as one word, SA Matters, to 22828. Be sure to watch your spell checker because it might try to change the word SA Matters to something else. If you do it right, you'll get a text message back to enter your email address. Once you do that, you'll then be signed up for the newsletter. Now, I know some of you don't have smartphones or you don't like to do that texting thing. So, if that's the case for you, you can swing by the SA Matters website and click on the red box on the right side of the homepage that's labeled Free Membership, and that'll sign you up. If you want to get connected with me on Twitter, just follow @Rich Gasaway on Twitter. If you want to get connected with me on LinkedIn, search for Rich Gasaway on LinkedIn. If you want to watch my videos, including the video versions of this show, you can subscribe to the SA Matters TV YouTube channel. That's SA Matters TV, all one word, on YouTube. And if you want to get connected with me on Facebook, you can like the SA Matters page on Facebook. Okay, finally, the SA Matters show and SA Matters TV YouTube channel have enjoyed over 700,000 downloads and views. This is the longest running, fastest growing, safety focused show on the internet. If you know of a company that might want to advertise their product or service on this show, just ask them to contact me through the SA Matters website. Well, that's it. Episode 203 is complete. Thank you to our awesome sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all the companies, agencies, and organizations that have hosted live training events. Thank you to all those that have hosted the live virtual internet-based training events. Thank you to the more than 1,500 students and graduates of the SA Matters Online Academy. And most importantly, thank you, the audience of this show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.